in 1917. Good luck. And we have actually played once before. So if you click your score there, it'll bring up the games that you've done. Born in 7,600 games. That's an experienced rapid player. I'm on 1,250-ish. Let's play the normal carol. You can pretty much pre-move d5, but there's no need to pre-move it, being a rapid game. It just depends what variation my opponent wants to go into. Plays knight up. So earlier on in the game I took and then I went with the bishop. I'll play a6 for this one then, just to mix it up. Slightly different line. If takes, I'll just take back with the pawn. He plays up, so I will now develop the bishop with a view to pawn up. If takes, we'll take back. So now we'll play pawn up. Then we'll just trade the bishop when we need to. Okay, we need to now, so we will take. Now, does he go with the pawn here and go for queenside? If he does, I'll develop the bishop and pin the knight, I guess. That's what he's gone for. So do we do that now? Do we develop here first? Just wonder whether to take here as well. Knight takes. I'm actually going to take here and do something about this structure. See where he wants his king to end up. Surely he's going this way, surely. But now I can play knight up. If he pushes, I can jump across. I've maybe got bishop up. Depends how he chooses to play this. Okay, he's played down, so we could go here or we can break the pin. That's a bit problematic potentially, so I guess I'd better just go here and break the pin. So now if he obviously pushes, we've got the option to jump across. He's played queen up, preparing castling. Can I play c5 here? What's wrong with c5? I can play here and obviously attack the bishop. c5 if he pushes. Is there a trick like knight takes? If he takes, we take the bishop. c5 looks like a move to me. It might be a blunder, but it looks like a move. If he takes, I'll just take the queen. I suspect he'll probably push, but let's just see. Oh, he's taken the knight. That wasn't a move I was expecting, but I'd still be very happy if he took. I think he'd more likely push. Oh, he has took. So we can take, get rid of this, and then triple stack his pawns. I'm very happy to play an endgame. So, okay, I won't be triple stacking his pawns. If I take now, it actually opens a file up, and that's a bit of a problem, right? So, I probably best develop my knight then and try and go forward. I thought I was going to end up getting him with a triple set of pawns there. But if I take now, it just opens up the file of his rook, and I couldn't really defend the pawn. I could keep the king maybe in the middle instead of castling. Castling is still a good move, I think. And activate the rook quickly. It feels like it's still a good move. Just debate whether I want to keep the king in the center of the board. I'm not sure. Okay, so we can still play in... can I play a bishop in here and attack his pawn? He can't come here to guard it, can he? So here, if he plays knight out wide... I mean, we can go in here and attack this pawn. We can just castle. It looks like a nice nuisance move, doesn't it? Coming in just to attack the pawn. He might have to spend a move going here. Then we can castle. Or we can try and figure out some other move. Knight up, I'm not sure is a move. But we're just playing common sense moves here, just attacking the pawn. We can maybe come in and attack this one. We can maybe castle. It's whether he wants to actually guard this pawn or go for something a bit more aggressive, which he might do. He might well do. Let's just see. Has he got any tactical shots like rook to c1, takes a knight d5 or something nasty like that? Attack the bishop, threaten a check. That could be a line, couldn't it? Oh, he's just abandoned this pawn. I wondered if he had rook across, and if we take, he had maybe a surprise like this. Maybe we could have just taken. But if I take now, can I then come back and look to trade? But that's why I went here, to try and take. If he pushes, I can just ignore this, I think, and go back. If I play knight up, I attack the bishop and threaten a check. Lose a pawn, check. Gain a rook, but lose a rook. I could actually potentially castle this way, as silly as it looks. I can play knight up and attack the pawn and threaten a check. I can pin the knight. I can go here and attack another pawn. But I still like good principles. I like the idea of castling. But knight up we need to look at. If he takes, can we play a move like rook across and attack the bishop? And he can't go back and stop us checking here. So knight up looks a move to me. And if he takes rook across, he can't protect his bishop. He can't easily attack our knight. He's got this check to deal with and the bishop to deal with. So here he could go back and defend, but it looks like a nice move to me, so I'm going to do it. It gives him a chance to blunder. I don't think he will, but it gives him a chance to. Oh, he has. So now I go here. He doesn't have a check, and we threaten check here. He's just playing it too quickly, that move, I think. I mean, you can grab another pawn, but we can check and win an exchange. So it's got to be the right thing to do, right? Just check and collect. There was a pawn as well, but we want the exchange. Feels like our king is safe. The problem is, though, he's got connected past pawns. So it could still be actually better for white in a strange way. It could be. I don't see the benefit to throwing a check in. Oh, he's done that, but I can just keep my king in the center now then. So if I threaten the knight, then we threaten to undermine the defense of the bishop. So bishop here has got to be a good move. It's whether I go here. The knight can't move without us hitting this pawn. It feels like I should be in the center, shouldn't it? Shouldn't I? We're threatening to take with a check and then win the bishop. So he's protected that. Yeah, it could actually be winning for our opponent. It could be. But if I take here, he then no longer gets this, does he? But he could go with the king. So I'm going to go here first. I want him to take with the pawn so that this is isolated. But we might not be able to stop the pawn once he gets far down without having to give up a rook for bishop and pawn, maybe, for instance. So it could actually still be better for white. This be interesting to see what the eval is later on. Yeah, we didn't spend too long trying to calculate the line out, even though we're down on time. Yeah. Well, here, rook takes. I don't like this, the idea of that. So I'm going to try and chip away at these pawns. But I'll probably take with the pawn if he does capture. If he doesn't, we're threatening to win a pawn. This is potentially tricky for us, potentially quite tricky. So take with the pawn and try and maybe release a rook to come around the back. But yeah, you can imagine if this pawn starts to march, it could be problematic. So I've still got the option to take here, but I like the idea of rook across, just simply going after the king and the pawn. Knight check doesn't do anything, so I'm going to go here now and threaten a check. He can't move the bishop with a check because we're on a dark square, otherwise my rook could be a problem. But yeah, you can imagine this pawn a couple more squares down the board, and it's really dangerous and could be hopeless for us. Hopeless. Okay, so I can go here and pin the knight, but I don't see quite what I gain from that. So what about going here? But that loses center control. I don't like the look of that. I'm going to go here and try and blockade this pawn, but the problem is if this one comes along as well, this is getting a bit problematic. I've probably gone wrong here. Maybe the knight was more valuable than his rook. Maybe. It might be one of them games where the exchange is actually poisoned. Oh, he's come forward. Okay, so I can pin the knight threatening to capture the pawn. He can break it, say, here. And I don't have a good follow-up. I can play this rook here to double attack here first, maybe then. But then my bishop is loose. So if he moves, my bishop's under attack. If I check, he can go here, but then I can check here. Here, check. Yeah, I'm going to throw a check in here so I don't blunder my bishop. I want to move my rook, I think. This is quite tricky now. Quite tricky. I expect he'll step forward, but let's just see. Then maybe rook across, but again, that might allow him to get his rook active. I don't know what to do here. I might have to leave the rook here, but as soon as I go forward, my rooks are not protected if I end up forward somewhere. So I mustn't let him move with a check, otherwise I blunder this rook. So that's the move I'm expecting. There is no check here. Don't quite see how I get to this. His knight's doing a really good job defending there. But you can imagine if the rook were to come behind and push the pawn, that looks rather problematic, doesn't it? And even if I play a rook here, his king's here. How do I break through? I'm threatening to go here and hit this pawn, but is it an actual serious threat? I'm not sure it is. I guess rook here, that's a move I've been looking at, but that might allow his rook to get active. That's what he's gone for. So I probably need to go here and try this idea, but it's dangerous, but I need some counterplay. So I'm going to go here and try and target this pawn. These are all really well protected. That's a basic, simple threat. But now my rook's not protected, so if this bishop moves, my rook is loose, so he could go back here. That's exactly what he's done. So take. I'm not a fan of this position I've gotten into. Oh boy. This is uncomfortable now. Do I go here? Do I take? Bishop takes here and try and queen before he does? I think I'm going to have to. So I'm threatening to check, but he can still protect this. I think he's going to be too quick for me here. He's just got to make sure his pieces are coordinated. So obviously if he moves his king now, his knight is loose, but I'm going to have to sack the bishop for at least one, if not both of these pawns. It might not be possible. Might not be possible. Well, there I can go here and attack this bishop. And he could go back to defend. Let's go here, attack the bishop, and then try and collect. I could have taken a pawn with a check first, actually, couldn't I? Why did I do that? I'm trying to drive his king back, and he can't go on the dark square, or he can move his bishop again. But then I can still take with a check, I guess, and then try and run this. Oh, and he's just played knight across. What the heck? Can't I take now and win the bishop? That's got to be winning. That's the blunder that gives two pieces and leaves us a rook up. That's the crucial blunder. White might have been better there, but for that blunder. Let's just see what there was in engine speak. That one was... that one was a dicey game, wasn't it? 32 moves there, the move times for both players there. Let's analyse it, but yeah, that might have been a poisoned rook that I took. Let's find out. Or in human terms anyway, in engine language it might have been fine. Oh, so we are actually better in this position, but yeah, it might well have been poisoned rook. I think it might have been, because we're plus 2.8 better here, and then it comes back to better for white. Yeah, it just felt like that. So 90 against 85 on the accuracy, but let's just see. We've got one blunder, opponent's got two, so where was our blunder? Knight to c2 check. Yeah, that was throwing the check in and going for the rook, wasn't it? But taking the rook was alright, but I've blundered there. Let's just see what I've actually done. I might have missed something else. Yeah, so here, this was good, but I should have just developed my knight instead of taking the pawn. Then I should have still developed my knight here instead of the other one. And then I should have got the queen out of the way and allowed this idea. Okay, always something to learn with these games. c5 was good, bishop takes was good, queen takes was good, knight up, bishop up, bishop takes was all good, knight d4 was good. Yeah, he should have gone back here, but I've blundered with knight here. So rook to b8 was good. This is where I've blundered though. I should have just taken the pawn. And I guess that's common sense in it. Yeah, I just saw that I could win the exchange. If I take this pawn first, he's only got the one pawn here, and we're still threatening to check the next move. But that's actually quite a big blunder. It's lost me 2 points. That's my only blunder of the game, thankfully. But yeah, we're just marginally better here. And I should have played f6 to chip away at these pawns. This is where we end up slightly worse. It was indeed slightly better for white. He should have played knight back to attack our bishop and potentially just hang this pawn. So our bishop must be getting trapped if we take the pawn. It's a chance for us to blunder then. Knight here. If we take, I suspect the bishop's trapped. So it's just marginally better here, these next few moves. Oh, actually, no, we've just been through that. So where was that? So it's 1.2 better there, but rook brings it back to level. And we've managed to play these moves okay. So you need to drop the king back there and use the bishop to guard the knight. That's actually a blunder. So it was good to take the rook. It was good to play rook across. It was actually good to hit the bishop immediately there, because I could have checked and then gone after the bishop. But he can't drop back to protect. He could have gone here. And instead he's moved the knight over to blockade, and now we can just take it and he loses the protection of the bishop. But you could maybe, it's plus 5.6, we should win now, because even if you take with a king, you keep these connected. Our king is quick enough to come across along with the rook, but yeah. But for that final move, it could have still been a tight game, even though we're plus 2.5 better. So, but an interesting game though, so very good.